Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in today for this Hangout on Air. My name is Dalia, and I'm an Associate Account Strategist here at Google. Today, we're going to cover the mobile site exam preparation course. And without any further ado, let's move over to the agenda points that we have for today. So firstly, we're going to cover why optimize mobile sites. Later on, we're going to see about developing mobile sites. Section 3 is going to cover site design principles, optimizing the performance as well in the Section 4, and then measuring mobile performance. And in Section 6, we're going to have a look at accelerated mobile pages, progressive web apps, and APIs. So why mobile sites? Why should we optimize them? Users of smartphones have been increasing annually since they were introduced. By 2018, it's expected that 36% of the world's population will be using smartphones, an increase from only 10% in 2011. And those who use the web, half of them do so on multiple devices. Therefore, if you have not developed a mobile site, users are very likely viewing an optimized version of your website, and that's not the greatest experience. You don't want to frustrate mobile users when they view your site. If they access the desktop version of your site on a mobile device, they might drop off. You can decrease that drop-off by building a mobile site. And mobile sites have several advantages over desktop versions and even apps. They have specific functionality for mobile devices, they have shorter development timelines than apps, and they make your website more search engine friendly as well. When you first start your mobile site, there are some things to keep in mind. If your client has existing mobile sites, you should review them. This will give you an idea of what they have implemented before and where you should focus your best practices. Also, when you design your mobile sites, make sure to optimize each page of both mobile for both mobile and desktop. Optimizing for mobile is beneficial simply not just for users, but for your clients as well, because mobile optimized sites have a better conversion rate of 2.1 times. And let's move over to developing the mobile sites. Mobile site development begins with planning, as you know. You'll probably want to interview the stakeholders of the site, map the site out, and get the right tools. One set of tools that you can use is the Chrome DevTools. Chrome DevTools can be used to inspect DOM elements. It also can be used to debug JavaScript and see how the site looks on different devices. A quick advice on this: when you're using DevTools, you should limit your connectivity to regular 3G, because that's the most regular one. Let's have a look at the site design principles now. One of the main parts of your mobile sites will be the features offered, right? So an important feature is your call to action buttons. The call to action buttons should keep the users on the same browser window. They should also be prominent on the visible area of the homepage and should be used for secondary actions like social sharing. Other features of your mobile site to keep in mind are mobile users expect to tap the logo at the top to go back to the homepage. Site search should be visible and very easily accessible, and it should return relevant and comprehensive results as well. Mobile site layout is going to be our next topic, and just as important as the features for your mobile site is the layout. Your mobile site layout should have a clear and efficient one. It can be affected either negatively or positively by the width, the height, or top of the site. And you can definitely use the formula width equals device minus width in the meta viewport, and this will match the width of your mobile site with the width of the user's device. And you never want to completely hide content on a user's device due to the device rotation, the screen size, etc. And if you have animation features such as scrolling, you should keep your JavaScript in the region of 3 to 4 milliseconds. To find the most clear and efficient design, you should test the different features and layouts with the A/B testing. A/B testing helps to optimize your site by showing different variants to the users. And you can also run Google Optimize to run tests on the different pages, but currently it does not have the heat map analysis. Optimizing performance, which is extremely important part as well. Let's cover the critical rendering path, and the HTML is parsed to create the DOM tree. Before rendering the page, the browser constructs the document object model, as well as known as DOM, and cascading style sheet object model, CSSOM. And DOM construction can be blocked by JavaScript that is not declared asynchronous. The render tree elements are computed by combining the DOM and CSSOM, which lays out the visible content on the page. And this is followed by the painting process. Other aspects to consider is the Li-Fi. This is where a user does not have connectivity, but appears that they do. This will prevent the user from loading critical resources and causes a poor experience. The first step in optimizing the critical rendering path is to analyze its components. So its resources, bytes, and length. Optimize images and minimal web fonts are good resources as well. Image metadata, such as location, camera description, etc., can be deleted to reduce the image sizes and increase the speed. And resources with responses that are identical for all users are great candidates to be cached by a CDN. And the fastest and the best optimized resource is the one not sent. One of the most important places you can optimize is the speed of your page. Low page speed impacts many metrics, including the bounce rates and the conversion rates as well. And you can optimize it by doing the following: minimizing the number of web fonts and their variants, also using revalidation tokens for efficient font reuse between pages, using the HTML class as the CSS selector, and keeping the minimum page weight under 1 megabyte. Also aiming for minimum speed index score of less than 5,000. And one way to achieve this is to use m.site rather than responsive site, since an m.site usually has a faster load time. You can also use webpagetest.org to simulate sites that have poor or unreliable connectivity. For further optimization, you should keep these performance tips in mind as well. Keeping CSS and HTML independent allows you to treat design and content separately. Images are often the heaviest elements of the downloaded page. Compression can be used to minimize the file size. You can consider sacrificing the quality of images to reduce the size. And the vector, also known as SVG format, is preferred for multi-device and high-resolution icons. Let's talk a little bit about measuring the performance. And as you know, Google Analytics can be a very powerful tool to help you to measure the mobile site performance. Definitely check out the bounce rates on your landing pages reports to discover landing pages that might need a design overhaul. The checkout behavior analysis report can also be used to diagnose and repair leakages from the conversion funnel that could be apparent, and you can also use the Google Merchandise Store demo account to explore more of the features. One of the ways to optimize for different browsers and screen resolutions is to look for pages with the highest number of sessions and the highest bounce rates and conversion rates. You should also keep in mind that the bounce rates can be acceptable depending on the page's function. For example, if a page is a landing page with the company's phone number, or if it's a checkout confirmation page, you should expect a higher bounce rate that may not need to be optimized. When you notice lower than expected conversion rate, you may have identified a bottleneck. And some of the examples for the bottlenecks are asking users to register to use the site or fill out some kind of a form beforehand. Also, call to action buttons that are not easily accessible or visible could be a bottleneck as well. Accelerated mobile pages, progressive web apps, and APIs is going to be our next topic. Similar to low page speed, slow loading can cause users to drop off, as you might noticed. According to a Google poll, waiting for pages to load is the top frustration for mobile users. And after only 3 seconds of loading, 40% of users will drop off. On the other hand, mobile pages that load 1 second faster are seen to have a 27% higher conversion rates than the ones who don't. One way to decrease loading times is to use accelerated mobile pages or AMPs, because they are an open source technology with growing adoption. They lay out the page without waiting for the resources to download. It allows asynchronous JavaScript, APM HTML, and custom fonts. Does not support aspects of the page that unnecessarily slow down the page, like third-party JavaScript, inline SCSS, or extension mechanisms, etc. You can also use progressive web apps, or PWAs, which are online web apps that are designed with mobile in mind. They are also comparable to native apps, which launch icons that can be placed on the device home screen and are workable even with unreliable networks by using service workers. The progressive web apps application shell contains the minimum HTML, CSS, and JavaScript required to power the app's user interface. It contains no data, represents the infrastructure and user interface of the app, and is pulled once and then cached by a service worker. This allows a faster loading time. Service workers are the scripts that run in the background of a browser. So they are also used for web push notifications and background syncs, etc. First step is installation is triggered by registering one in the JavaScript, and after the activation, the service worker is either in one of the two states. It either terminates the save memory, or it will fetch and send messages on behalf of the page. Also, it operates by running a programmable network proxy. Web and push notification APIs allow the server to push data to an installed service worker, and they're simply important because they deliver timely updates to users and can re-engage with them in the content that they're the most interested in, and they can act it upon immediately as well. The good ones are considered to be timely, precise, and relevant, and it's very easy to irritate the users with notifications that they don't care about, right? Lastly, we'll cover the payment request APIs. They are an intermediary between the users, the merchant, and the payment methods. And they work on any browser device or platform and make the payment process simple for each side by standardizing the checkout process and data flow. Also, it supports different secure payment methods. The browser can remember payment methods and shipping preferences of the user, and this simply speeds up the checkout process. So this would be the information we're going to cover for today. Thank you so much for connecting for this Hangouts on Air, and I would like to wish you best of luck in your mobile site exam preparation. I hope you have the great rest of the week, and I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye.